Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, broadcasting on Channels Television, live from Lagos. Well, as always, we're pleased to receive pictures from you, so let's begin with this one from Warri in Delta State, showing the scene of an accident. Our eyewitness reporter says the truck was scared off the road by a security vehicle driving against traffic. He reports that the truck, which collided with the barricade, also broke both legs of a lady at the scene. Next is this picture from Ibafon in Ogun State, showing a market on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Our eyewitness reporter says traders here usually obstruct traffic. He therefore appeals to the relevant authorities to relocate this market because of its safety implications. From Agodi Gate in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, comes this next picture, showing vehicles driving through a flooded road. Our eyewitness reporter says the flood is due to the blockade of the underground culvert. He therefore appeals to the authorities to clear the passage of water to prevent floods whenever it rains. Finally is this picture from Bayero University in Kano, showing what our eyewitness reporter says are project works of students of Mechanical Engineering Department. He says students' projects should be better stored, since they could be used for national growth and technological development. Well, thank you for sending in these pictures. Please note that you too can report news and events happening around you. All you need to do is download Channels Television's free apps from their respective stores. The governor of Kaduna State, Malam Nasir El-Rufai, has called for the establishment of a new national oil company that will ensure transparency in the nation's oil industry. The president has also promised to implement far-reaching reforms to boost accountability and transparency in Nigeria's oil and gas industry. Speaking at a meeting with senior officials of Chevron, led by the company's president for Africa and Latin America, Mr. Ali Moshiri, President Muhammadu Buhari said that his administration was ready to effectively address the myriad of challenges in the sector. He explained, quote, "We understand the situation in the industry, and we will do our best to address the challenges affecting exploration, production, and distribution of oil products in the country," end of quote. The president, who admitted the merits of the amnesty program initiated by the late President Umar Yar'Adua to reduce violence in the Niger Delta region, said that his administration will build on the good aspects of the program. He added that he will also take other measures to enhance security in the Niger Delta and optimize investments in Nigeria's oil and gas industry. A former head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Mr. Stephen Oronsaye, who was arraigned before a federal high court in Abuja for alleged involvement in 1.2 billion naira graft while he held sway as head of the civil service, has regained temporary freedom till July the 21st, 2015, when his bail application will be heard. In the charge filed before the court by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, the former top bureaucrat, alongside two other persons, allegedly siphoned about 1.2 billion naira from the Federal Treasury during his tenure as head of the civil service. Mr. Oronsaye and his co-accused persons pleaded not guilty to the 24-count charge, bordering on money laundering and corruption, slammed against them. But the prosecutor, Aliyu Yusuf, urged the court to set a date to commence trial, while the accused persons are remanded in prison custody. Lawyer to the former head of service, Mr. Kanu Agabi, however, prayed the trial judge, Justice Gabriel Kolawole, to grant his client bail on liberal terms. In his ruling, Justice Kolawole ordered that the accused persons should be released to their counsel, who must write an undertaking to produce them in court on July the 21st, 2015, when their bail application will be argued. The National Industrial Court has ordered the reinstatement of the 22 local government chairmen who were sacked by the Federal High Court in Port Harcourt, the River State capital. In his ruling, Justice J. Agbadu Fishim held that the council chairman should not have been sacked in the first place, since an interim order of June the 22nd was still pending. The interim order restrained the state governor, the House of Assembly, the Attorney General, or their agents from dissolving the councils. The court had fixed further hearing of the case for July the 13th, but the spokesman to the governor, Nyesom Wike, told Channels Television that the chairman remained sacked, adding that the claim of an industrial court judgment is a malicious and calculated attempt by disgruntled elements to cause crisis in the state. In the meantime, contrary to reports that policemen are no longer to man council offices in Rivers State, the law enforcement officers have refused to leave, saying they have not received such orders from the Inspector General of Police. Officers keeping watch at the Obiapo Council offices did more than their mandate when they engaged Channels Television's crew and other journalists in a scuffle while attempting to record a video of the scene. Meanwhile, the leaders of the All Progressive Congress gathered at another location to address a press conference, while the government insists it cannot be intimidated by anybody. Our correspondent, Emmanuel Arraigns, reports.
Men of the Rivers State Police Command keeping watch at some council offices in the state following the recent judgment dissolving the councils. Some of the officers engaged in a scuffle with our crew and other journalists as they tried to take shots.
I don't belong you! Don't go there. Don't touch me. Don't push me. Don't push me. Don't push me. Don't touch me. If you point, I'll slap you. If you point, I'll slap you. Stop that now. Stop that now. Why you slap me? Why now? Why now?
And at another location, members and leaders of the All Progressives Congress in the states gather to address the press.
I have watched with keen interest the government of Rivers State, led by Chief Nyesom Wike for some time, acknowledging that they were imposed on our people by the sheer pleasure of a lady, mindless impunity and brute force. I had hoped that the government would chart the path of peace, unity and progress with the end of earning the much needed credibility. But fellow Riversmen and women have been disappointed.
Elsewhere, government activities go on undisturbed as Governor Nyesom Wike inaugurates new commissions in the state at the council chamber. While giving his charge, the governor says the change slogan is being tested, but he will not yield to any intimidation.
I was told that the IG and the school and his colleagues and all the council secretaries should be shut down. Well, I said, okay, we will not try to follow due process. For me, if you like this business, you don't like, we'll do what the law says we should do.
It appears politicians in Rivers State are bent on continuing on war path, but the call is for everyone to follow the line of peace for the development of the state. Emmanuel Arraigns, Channels Television News.
Well, joining me on the news at 10 once again to discuss this issue further is Mr. Jiti Ogunye, a legal practitioner. You're welcome to the news at 10.
It's my pleasure to be here today. Thanks for inviting me.
Now, I think my first question would be whether you were surprised that the National Industrial Court gave this reinstatement order today.
Yes, I was. I was surprised. In the same way I was surprised that the Federal High Court earlier had given an order sacking the local government chairman. So I was surprised by both orders. Because if things were normal, both orders shouldn't have been granted.
If things were normal?
Yeah.
Can you expatiate on that a little bit?
You know, ordinarily, the Federal High Court ordinarily will not have jurisdiction to entertain the matter in the first instance, because here we're talking about a state government and its Electoral Commission being dragged before a Federal High Court a federal government court and being restrained by, purportedly, by that federal high court. And secondly, upon that matter being filed in that federal high court, the state government joined issues with the People's Democratic Party that dragged it to the federal high court and raised an appeal against the jurisdiction of that court, for which reason that court adjourned the matter sine die, meaning indefinitely, only for that court to then resume hearing hurriedly and then to grant the judgment, which, as it were, created a basis for this other judgment or ruling to be granted today. But
doesn't the National Industrial Court have the jurisdiction over civil causes?
It does, by the third alteration of the Constitution, in particular, Section 6, which amended Section 254 of the Constitution, which then expanded the jurisdiction of the National Industrial Court. The National Industrial Court essentially deals with labor, trade union, employment, industrial matters, etc., etc. But depending on how reliefs are couched, for example, if local government workers went to that National Industrial Court to say that, look, the disbandment of the executive of local government will affect our job, so our employment will be affected adversely. So come and intervene. The National Industrial Court may hide under that to say that it has jurisdiction. More or less in the same manner, the Federal High Court claimed jurisdiction because part of the relief sought by the PDP was to restrain INEC, a federal government agency, from delivering the updated voters register to Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission to conduct that election. So hiding under that too, the Federal High Court could claim that it had jurisdiction to entertain the matter. So, and that's why I said earlier that if things were normal, you know, both interventions wouldn't have been made.
So as it were now, it is a legal issue and a political issue and a labor issue.
It's legal and political. I'm not so certain that it's a labor issue, really. And being legal and political, and since these two courts have granted this judgment, it's hoped that the Court of Appeal, you know, being a higher court, more so when the matter has gone to the Court of Appeal, will intervene quickly and resolve the matter. Meanwhile, the people of Rivers State and the governor of Rivers State and the partisans there are enjoined to keep the peace and ensure that law and order does not break down in the state.
Thank you very much for coming onto the news at 10. Yeah. I've been speaking with Mr. G.T. Ogunye, a legal practitioner. Now, still ahead on the news at 10, Nigeria's equities market depreciates 2.49% week on week, its lowest value since the 30th of March. That's going to be on Business News, so please join us again.